We are live on the red carpet tonight, as we've been showing you throughout this half hour at the Palm Springs International Film Festival Awards Gala.
Look at there, Patrick Evans, Angela Chen with Steven Spielberg, the director of The Fabelmans tonight, huh guys?
Yeah, that was incredible.
It was surreal.
We saw the entire cast, but Mr. Spielberg showed up with Michelle Williams, who plays his mother in the film. But it was just really surreal talking to him, talk about how he directed a movie about his childhood, which was both painful and amazing, he said.
And there was just no ego, so gracious, so kind, and thorough in his answer. I just couldn't believe how down to earth they both were.
He took a lot of selfies, which I think is a pretty cool thing.
Somebody asked for selfies. It wasn't me, for the record, but he's like, yeah, let's do it, which I thought was so great.
Let's take a look at the interview.
Tell me about what it meant to you to finally tell this story, and of course to have such a wonderful person like Michelle.
I was lucky to have this actor telling my story, our story, because it's not just my story, it's the story of my mom and my dad and my sisters, and it was just a beautiful, kind of scary trip down memory lane. I think mainly because it's very easy and safe for me to make a movie where I can sort of get behind history or get behind science fiction or genre, but to actually, tell a story about things that have happened to me and us in our lifetimes was probably the scariest decision to make. I wouldn't have done this movie 10, 15 years ago.
Right. I feel like it could only have happened now. What emotional sort of holes did you have to dig through and up out of to make this?
I think when I lost my parents, and orphaned, we lose our parents, we're orphaned, and I think that was the time I said it's time for a kind of, not an accounting, but a recounting of those years. And they were hard years. It was a tough childhood. It was also an entertaining childhood.
All right, there you see the crowd, the fans gathered to watch the celebrities who are all inside now. The show has started, but those fans hopeful for one last look for whomever pulls up here on the red carpet. I do think that they have started this, so they're likely not going to see anybody else.
The folks at the festival told me all of the arrivals have occurred. They're inside, they're backstage. But we did have a chance to talk to both Baz Luhrmann and Austin Butler, the team behind the blockbuster Elvis. All right, we are here with Austin Butler and Baz Luhrmann from Elvis. First of all, I saw it. I was blown away by your portrayal of Elvis. Talk about Elvis has been impersonated millions of times, but you didn't impersonate, you inhabited him. Tell me about your process.
Oh, that's a wonderful compliment. Thank you. It was a long process. I was very fortunate. I had a year and a half before we started shooting, so I tried so many things, and I was surrounded by an amazing team of people. I had a karate instructor, my movement coach, Polly Bennett, and singing coaches and vocal coaches, and then it was just a lot of experimenting and just trying to find, how do you find the balance between all the intricacies of him, but at the core, his soul has to be there. And so for me, it was finding these keys into his humanity, and then from there, it all kind of spawned.
I think that's really a great way to put it. It was you found the humanity in a character that was larger than life, and obviously you tackle a project like this. What a huge undertaking. Where do you wrap your head around starting to do this life story?
Well, I love this idea that Shakespeare, or if you think of Amadeus, right? It's not just a biopic. It's about jealousy. It's about a larger idea. And I just thought Elvis's life is the greatest canvas on which to explore America in the 50s and the 60s and 70s. But let me tell you something, just listening to Austin. I wouldn't even begin to tackle this unless I found an Elvis, and I honestly didn't think I would. And I can tell you, I was just listening to what Austin said. When Priscilla Presley saw this movie, she said, we were so nervous, weren't we, Oz? We were just more nervous than any screening in my life. Because she said, I don't know how this young guy's going to be able to do it. She said, what do you think it's like to have people come up to you with a curled lip and impersonate all your life your husband? And she said, when I saw the film, every move, every voice, every wink, but the more important thing was, how did Austin know what Elvis was like in the private moments, in the quiet moments?
Bring that bass up, Jerry.
I wish to promote you, Mr. President.
All right.
Are we back?
We are back.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. I was just talking to Patrick, and apparently Austin Butler has heard of Patrick singing Frank Sinatra and said he does a killer Frank. What a compliment, too. He does, too.
And Baz Luhrmann was like, you
Frank
guys need to do, because there's a moment where Sinatra and Elvis appeared on stage together, and Baz Luhrmann was like, you guys need to recreate that. So I think maybe I got a deal waiting for me in there.
I think this might be the last we see of Patrick. Man,
that was
really
that
nice
was a very
knowing
cool
ya.
moment, though. I mean,
It was.
Talking
there were
to both of those
so many cool
gentlemen.
moments tonight, though. The number of stars who came through to accept their awards, the presenters who came through to support them and present those awards. It's just been a star-studded night, and so nice after a 2-year break in which we couldn't do this.
No, and some slipped by. Jamie Lee Curtis did not stop and talk.
We wanted to talk to Jamie Lee
Watched
Curtis,
her walk
but,
by.
Right, Kate Blanchett also slipped by.
So.
Yeah. Well,
But that's
all
how
a good
these red
night,
carpet
though.
shows go.
Right.
Maybe
You
Oh,
guys-
it was a great night. We got to talk to, talking to Steven Spielberg is just an amazing thing.
Well,
And
good
maybe,
job.
Maybe you'll be doing My Way later tonight. In a duet.
Right along with Elvis.
Could happen.
All right.
guys.
Thank you,
All right,
too.
well, we've had a great night. We're going to send it back to the studio. Always a pleasure working with you.
Always a pleasure, Patrick. We'll see you again on the morning show.